Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, OMONDI Juma, and bath time. We did the preview yesterday, so we've got a few other bits and pieces. Hojlund joined in training. That's put a smile on our face. Obviously, he's not going to be back yet. Ten Hag was very defensive and aggressive in the press conference. We're going to discuss that as well. And Bertrand, on a free transfer, they keep all they said is he's fit. He's fit. He's match fit. So whether that means that we are going to be going in for him as cover for Luke Shaw, we'll find out. Let's get the show on the road. Good evening, guys. I'm glad you're here. I know I am going to assume that you've got Chelsea on low in the background. So yeah, welcome for tuning in. On Monday, could you get through some of these comments before we get going?
Yeah, big up to Jaylee. Jaylee said, Bertrand, instead of Amrabat, there's no ambition at Man United. Sorry to say it, we just wrote off the season. Damn. Eddie's saying, go and subscribe to Eddie Football Waffle, by the way. He says, smash your likes. Big up to Stuart Marshall. How you doing, Stuart? Haven't seen you for a while. Hopefully we'll see you on the show very soon. And are you going to Old Trafford? DK Wilson, how you doing? He says, all right, here on time. Hey, OMONDI, don't bust my chops. If I space out like I did yesterday whilst watching Lille play, today he's got one eye on Chelsea and Luton. Matthew Bassett and Solo together in the house. Hope you guys are doing well. And DK again saying, OMONDI, no A in your name. Yes, there you go again. Did you spell it wrong? Yeah, there you go. Look how you spelled my name. It's a bit like Andrew Tate. There's Omondo. Like I'm a transformer or something. My brother's in the house. Say hi to my brother. He said, promote simple maths, innit? Quick maths. Promote Avro Fernandez instead of getting Bertrand. So show over. Let's do that. Let's do what he said. By the way, I just want to say big up while he's watching. My little bro helped me out with some football issues with our Sunday side. He sat me down and gave me a lesson in management. So I'm humbled and I'm grateful.
Sorry. You know you just can't leave it like that. Could we have an insight into what was said? Was it your
very quickly what he did? Yeah. So I've got a team. I'm trying to work on the weaknesses and trying to get during the friendlies. We've got 6 games to work on the weaknesses, which means because I know the teams we've come up against that are better than us, and I know how we're going to get beat. So I want us to be a bit more compact to manage these teams and see it out. These guys are not taking it on board. We want to play this. We want to get it forward. Why are we doing all this? Moaning. So I'm saying no, because we have to do this to learn, to work on your weaknesses. You know, this is what you have to do, discipline. But my brother came along to me and said, look, bro, just push your wide men rather than tuckle them in when we haven't got the ball. Push them up against the fullbacks, their opposition fullbacks, and leave basically 2 in midfield and ask the one striker to drop back in and for the midfield 3 sort of thing, and just pump it forward to these guys, wide guys. This is how they like to play. They play too direct. They haven't got any tactical sort of nous in that sort of sense. And it worked against the team. We won 8-1 the other day, and it worked, and everyone's happy again. But they don't like... We're playing a team who've got a formula like Barcelona this Sunday, and they're very organised. They won 8-0 last week, so they're going to be very good. And I think they're going to dominate us possession-wise, and we might get some licks. So that's where I think it's going to work for me. After the game, I can say, I told you so. We needed to practice being on the back foot and how to be compact and not get played through like a hot knife through butter. But anyway, my brother, it's not just about tactics. It's just about, look, give the guys what they want, get the confidence up, and then we can work. Maybe they work a bit better. That was all it is. Sorry to go on, but we're back to Man United now. Stuart Marshall saying here he's leaving at 6 in the morning to get up. Looking forward to more to the sitting than the game, he's saying here. And bring back Ryan Bertrand, bring back Dennis Owen, Stuart Marshall. Big up Big T as well. He's saying pay the Glazers for your tickets and then sit in protest, clapping his hands. A bit sarcastic there. There we go. Thank you.
All right, look. Bath time. We haven't even heard nothing from, so you're going to start on this one. We obviously Luke Shaw is going to be out for a lot longer than it sounds like Ten Hag anticipated. he did go in a bit on his press conference. So we'll just do the slight Bertrand, and then that will lead you on perfectly to your assessment of his press conference. Bertrand, somebody who we've been linked with, obviously that Luke Shaw injury, as I said, is a lot more serious. Ten Hag didn't give a date. He said it's what was the word he used? It was personal information or something like that, or private information. Some word he used as to say like mind your own business. And he actually didn't give a time scale as to when he'll be back. He just said he's going to be out longer than Mason Mount. What do you think he's going to do? And obviously somebody in the chat spoke about just promoting Fernandes. What do you think he's going to do tomorrow? I know what you want him to do.
What do I want him to do?
Move Licha left back and play him, let him move into the defensive midfield. Is that what you're thinking? Yeah,
I am. And do you know who I want? Do you know if that happens, who has to come in at centre back?
If you say Maguire, I'm going to cut you off.
No, not Maguire.
Casemiro.
Johnny Evans.
Johnny,
he's the only left footer.
He's not left-footed.
Yeah.
He's not left-footed.
I think he is. He definitely plays left centre back. But the thing is that like we got Johnny Evans, like he's not on a coaching deal. He's on a year-long playing contract, as far as I can work out. So like he's part of the playing squad. I mean the safe thing to do is Delot, innit? Like it's just put Delot at left back, which is boring. But Ryan Bertrand, sorry, that was the question. Ryan Bertrand, like Mr. B, did you say someone said he was match fit?
Well, that is what all of the articles are saying. That's what they've emphasized. Match fit, for fit, ready to play type thing. So he's ready to jump straight in.
Do you know when he last played a competitive match?
Go on.
2 years ago. He hasn't played a competitive match for 2 years. Yeah.
Wow.
At least it's 600 days or something. He hasn't played a competitive match for.
Oh well, let's just write off that one, then, innit?
Half time. Where was he last season?
Like not on a football pitch. Like that's all I can tell you. I saw a comment on Twitter about the last time he played a first team game, and it was 600 days ago, which is roughly 2 years. So I mean, like, has Bertrand played in Holland or something? Like, why are we being linked to a left back that doesn't play left back, that doesn't play football? Rather, I'm with Zico on this. I think if you got Alvaro Fernandez in your squad and you've loaned him out to Preston last year, and he was Young Player of the Year at Preston, he played minutes. He's like, he's not a novice to English football. He gets what it's about. He knows what it's going to be like going to away grounds and what fans are like and stuff. Like, what's the point of having a guy like that who played pre-season, played quite well, can invert, and getting Ryan Bertrand in, who, I mean, great stuff. He won the Champions League on his debut, but I don't think he's done anything else. Like, is he even a Premier League quality player?
I don't know. First of all, can we just go rewind a little bit for half time?
Yeah.
Well, he was at Southampton, I think, wasn't he? At Southampton, last I heard, or. But what are you telling me? He was without a club all of last season?
No, I think he was with a club, but he didn't play.
Oh my god! And how old is he? And two questions: how old is Bertram? Why hasn't he been playing? And what level was he playing at? And where the hell is Malacia or Malice? What do you call it? Mr. B calls him something else. I call it
Malacia, innit?
All right. I've got some details. Like, so he's at Leicester, and he's been at Leicester since 2021, and he's played 4 games in that time. Like before that, he was at Southampton for 6 years. But like, yeah, he played the last game he played, I think, was the Charity Shield against Manchester City for Leicester.
Wow.
Which is, it's just madness. I mean, I don't know. I remember was it Ollie that went for Josh King, who was like an ex-youth player, Norwegian. He knew him. Right, it wasn't going to be the most exciting sign-in ever, but you could kind of understand that he knew the player. like the player was had been at United and would understand what was expected of him. But Ryan Bertrand, I'm thinking, who's his agent? Like, does his agent like? Is this going to be like the Bebe deal or something, where we're doing an agent a favour? I just can't understand why that name is so heavily linked to us.
It's random, really random. Okay,
Right,
so
you
go
didn't
on.
answer the Malacia issue.
Injured.
Where is he?
He's
Hello. Anyone seen Malacia?
There's no word. As I said it, as Ten Hag said, it's private information. Mind your own business. He'll be back when he's ready.
Yeah,
So,
that's what they've said about Malacia. They're not releasing how long he's out for or what he's injured with. It's just put as unknown.
All right.
I wonder if there's something else going on.
Like what? What's your
Oh,
conspiracy?
I know I don't have a conspiracy, but normally you tend to hear what issues are with players. That's all. You know, whether it's a muscle injury, whether it's a knee, whether it's a something. That's what I'm saying. Oh God, is it something else? You know what I mean? Look, who knows, man? It'll come out eventually, I suppose. So the other two options, Dallo or Fernandez. Obviously, you're bigging up Fernandez. I'm more thinking about the Arsenal game. Is Fernandez going to be able to hold Saka? Is Dallo going to be able to hold Saka, to be fair? But I think he may well do a better job than Fernandez. Thoughts, guys?
Oh God, I don't know. Just want to big up Steve first. He said Andy Tate, get Andy Tate and his Budweiser's on. Johnny Evans, for fuck's sake, says rather Maguire than that, says Stuart Marshall. Bart's going on about City upgrade Laporte and Martinez with Guardiola and Doku. United shouldn't look to sniff around Bertram and Evans unless it is to fill the homegrown quota. Stuart Marshall says Marshall is starting tomorrow. Johnny Evans would have done well for Mourinho, but he's currently fifth choice centre back. Emma, how you doing? I do think Alvaro's issue is the physical aspect of it, because he looks quite small. So I don't know if he's ready for the Prem. If he's ready for the Championship, though, bring back Evra, says somebody. Ed Mayhem saying, bring back Fred. Oh, here we go. All these revivals. Dalot can play left back. That's from Matthew Bassett. So we are starting to answer these questions. And no, he hasn't signed yet. That's Andrew Williams asking about Bertram. Johnny Evans and Bertram, are we having a laugh? Big up to Robert Wagner in the house, watching from Oklahoma City. I'm going to Kansas City. No, I was going to say it's not.
No,
okay,
wrong.
Wrong son. Oklahoma City. Guys originally from Ballybrack, Glory Man United. Everyone give Robert a wave. It looks like Robert Wagner, doesn't it? From Heart to Heart, his name at first. It's Wagona. You remember Robert Wagner, Mr. B?
Robert Wagner? Who's
Heart
Robert Wagner? Oh, with his wife.
Yeah, with his wife.
Oh shit! Yeah. I do remember that. Not much of it, but yeah, I do remember that.
Great show.
I don't know about it being a great show.
He was actually married to Natalie Wood, and Natalie Wood. He was on the boat when Natalie Wood. She died on a boat accident. She fell out of the boat at night time. Maybe she's drinking. Christopher Walken, who always looks a bit suspect, was on the boat too.
Oh, OMONDI.
Let's go on to the press conference. Let's go into the press conference.
Yeah, I want to hear about it. I usually get to watch it, but I'm watching you guys talking about it backstage, and there's being a bit of a personality change from our manager.
Bath time. Do you want to start it?
All right. Well, I've seen one clip and the quotes, and it's quite extraordinary. Where I think Jamie Jackson, the journalist, asked him, look, we all saw against Spurs that the midfield was really open. What was going on there?
Yeah.
And then Ten Hag went off on one, saying that the midfield was perfect and that it was the defence and the forwards that were the problem. And then the follow-up question was about Casemiro's fitness, and he said that Casemiro, if you could see the numbers that he could see, you would know that Casemiro has never been fitter. And this doesn't seem to chime with the reality that I saw at the weekend when I saw Casemiro huffing and puffing. Martinez, the thing is, right, okay, so if he says it's the defence and the forwards that are the problem, changes. You've got to change them, because he did this on pre-season. He complained about the team, and he stuck an unchanged team out twice. And all right, there's going to be two enforced changes with Mount and Logan. But he just, Omondi, he looked frazzled, worried. He was like, not even passive aggressive, he was just aggressive.
Is it because of the line of questioning? Do they really put him on the spot? Do you have to sort of pat the journalists on the back? Did they put him on the back foot?
I don't think that they did put him on the back foot. I think they asked him hard questions.
I think they did, but I think it started. They didn't leave the Greenwood situation alone. I think
right, okay.
Yeah, I think that was what got him going, because he kind of answered the question, and then they came back with like another 2 or 3. The guy answered something else, and then another journalist came back again with another set of Greenwood questions, and you could see it was like, I've already answered.
I didn't see this. What were that?
Yeah.
Do you remember what the Greenwood questions were?
It was just asking. Basically, it was just asking it. Do I remember? No, I don't remember them 100%. But the gist of it was, did he want him to play? Did he want him to be picked? And he kind of didn't. Did he want him in the squad? And he didn't. He kind of didn't answer, but I think that's the way they were kind of going with their questioning. So yeah, he was really, 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 really prickly, really prickly.
Does that make him look bad then? Do you what you're saying, guys? Do you think he should be a lot cooler or a bit more reserved? Or I mean, because we've seen Fergie be prickly. I mean, that's nothing. I'm sure I've seen the press conference, but I've seen Fergie really sort of get peed off with some of these journalists to the point where he just tells and walks away. Yeah, go and do your thing, man. So I don't know. Mid-bath time, you've seen more than me. Do you think it's a bad sign and the pressure's on with the manager? Because Andrew's saying here, just to drop this one on you. Andrew's saying that Eric Ten Hag is bottling it, and Damien is saying here, totally agreed with bath time. Eric, our manager, is delusional. Midfield was completely outplayed second half. So when you're
Damien.
Do you actually, when you're under pressure, you actually sort of like start making things up?
I don't personally. I think that. So. First of all, you were talking about Fergie. I always got the impression that like Fergie just hated dealing with journalists because they didn't know what they were talking about. There was all that stuff about his son, and it was like an affront to him that he had to deal with the hoi polloi of journalism. Okay. But like Ten Hag, I think he got rattled by the questions, because I mean, if I were him, I wonder if he feels the club have hung him out to dry by sort of leaking that information that he's been well up for getting Greenwood back, and Greenwood's been part of his plans. We've seen the almost, apart from certain countries, we've seen the universal pushback against Greenwood, and it sort of could be painting him as a bit of a villain, because he was going to he wanted Greenwood back. He was pushing for it. But the other thing is that I think that all this is United have been appallingly set up in the last 2 games, and it's either that he's expecting too much of the players, or they're just not doing what he's been asked. And I was really surprised to see him like saying, no, it's not the midfield, it's other parts of the team, because that's just moving pressure from one place to another. He didn't really sort of take any accountability for it, and it genuinely looked like a man who's just received a vote of confidence from the board. I was shocked.
Just to get some consistency, but didn't he say in pre-season there's a game he played where he blamed the attackers again?
It was Real Madrid, I think.
Yeah. So was that?
They're not scoring. They're not scoring.
Well, I think what it is, right, is that like there's a lot of sort of like in like we've seen it in the comments and stuff. There's a lot of kind of mistrust about why we've got Mason Mount and why we're praying him next to Bruno. And I think that the idea is that Mount is going to cover a huge amount of space because of his mobility. Bruno can also cover a lot of space, and they're going to alternate as a sort of double pivot. So one of them's going to come back to help Casemiro at certain situations. But in order to do this, your team needs to be technically secure on the ball. You can't give the ball away when you're that open in the midfield.
And I think that's the issue that he gets pissed off with.
Yeah,
with Rashford and
exactly.
And Anthony. Sancho holds on to the football, and Martial, they keep hold of the football.
Yeah.
So we tend not to lose it when we're that side of the pitch, because as a team breaks on us, we've got Casemiro, who, unless he's within 10 feet of somebody, they're gonna
He's gonna slide.
Yeah, he's gonna be sliding in. And then you're then running on our centre backs who don't see centre backs, they never seem to engage until they hit the penalty area. Somebody needs to try and engage him a little bit earlier. But again, look, maybe that's the instruction that they've been given. But yeah,
well, on a transition, you can't do that. Like if you have cover, which means like you've got a +1, one of the centre backs can go and engage. But it's meant to be the central midfielder or the person that's in the middle is meant to be the one that engages.
Tracks the player. Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah, well, not even tracks the player, engages the ball carrier and tries to get them on their weak side and force it wide. But Casemiro, because of his lack of mobility, it's almost like fear. He goes in 3,000% trying to win the ball. And do you remember that sequence, right, against Wolves? Casemiro slides in, doesn't get the ball.
He ran off him, innit?
Yeah, and then Cunha comes in, and Martinez has had to come out to try and engage with Cunha, and Cunha just goes past him as well. Yeah. Like, that is just the worst way to defend a transition you'll see in the Premier League all season. It's like a learning tool. It's like when their men go and look at Luton Roundabout about how not to design a roundabout. I think that this is what Ten Hag is mad about, is that he thinks that his team shouldn't lose the ball, and the forwards are not making the correct runs in order to sort of give an angle. And but if they do give the correct run, I think that Martinez has been poor this season, certainly with distributing the ball. We're not seeing what he was doing last year with with line breaking balls. I think that the whole team is too wide. They're not looking after the ball, and Ten Hag thinks that this is the fault of the players instead of adjusting his tactics to do what OMONDI would do, which is get more compact.
All right. Could I just go through a few comments here while we're on the topic? Emma saying he's probably pissed off. Talk about Erik Ten Hag. I would be too if my employer isn't getting me what I would need to do my job. Bart saying here, Erik Ten Hag being attacked by the media on the Greenwood issue. I think that he is an easy target, as Arnold and Glazers aren't really media friendly. Andrew saying, I love Ten Hag, but his head's gone. Black Bolt, welcome Black Bolt. How you doing? Looking really cool with your hat there, man. Nice one. He says, I think Erik Ten Hag is frustrated. He hasn't got the players he wanted in the transfer market. Is this what's boiling over, guys? 2 people have said that already. Damien Walsh saying midfield's been a problem since 2012. DK is saying here, so journals are taking a low road and asking Ten Hag instead of asking the people responsible for the Greenwood decision. Screw the media, weak as usual. Good comment, DK. Emma's saying here, Ten Hag doesn't like the media either. Big up to Vincent Bullock, he's in the house as well. I don't mind having an attitude, but not when your team is playing. But when your team is playing well, too defensive. That's Andrew Williams. Zoe Media House in the house saying, "Do you think we will sign a striker now? Greenwood is gone." DK saying, "Exactly. The club used Ten Hag, whether he said anything or not. Thank the Glazer minions for this. They are also trying to get the heat off themselves as well. Bring back Veghorst," says Stuart Marshall. Andrew is saying, Anthony keeps the ball well, not so much first 2 games though. Black Bolt is saying, if Anthony does another disappearing act, Erik Ten Hag is under more pressure. That's his boy, isn't it? Damien Walsh is saying, I feel Sancho should be more selfish and just go for goal more and gain more confidence with that as well. Zoe Media House saying, now Fred is gone. Who's going to take the P out of? Who are we going to take the P out of now? And do you think we might see a rotated side tomorrow? Says Emma. Big up to Man United. He's saying good evening. I want to say King T'Challa. This is a Black Panther thing, isn't it? So if we are a transition team, we've got to be more clinical. He's saying we have to make teams pay for missing, and we have to have, but we have the most wasteful forwards being selected. Rashford, he's calling them out. Martial, Sancho is the only front 3 that will do the job. King Charles is with you with this transition. That's what we're about now, isn't it? Damien Walsh is saying definitely 100%. The midfield is unbalanced. Control the midfield. You dominate teams.
Well, I think that's
some interesting comments there. Like, do you like? Someone said, forgive me, I can't remember who it was. Someone said like, Anthony is Ten Hag's boy. Like, we saw that like Ollie, sort of like Fred, McTominay, and Maguire were his boys. Do you think that like Anthony and Mount might be what turns the fans on Ten Hag if he doesn't rotate? Spent a lot of money on them.
You know, were we happy with the final outcome of our season?
Last year,
two finals finishing inside the Champions League position. I think you can only gauge that maybe at the end of the season. During the season, Anthony got battered. He really, really did. But at the end of the day, the end result was we got, he's been given his time. If he goes, everybody's looking for the improvement in Anthony. He needs to get his head up, for one. And if he can't be told that already at the age that he's at, he's an international footballer. Then we've got a situation. You look at Saka. When Saka cuts in on his left, I expect Saka to score. When Anthony does it, I expect it to go over the bar. I think there's a lot of technical things that he can work on. If you've only got one foot, make it the best that it can be. You know what I mean?
Mr. B, I think where the pressure might come, and I think after 2 games, we are under pressure. I mean, you can hear it in social media. We're all on social media. We all see what's being said, and by rival fans as well. If they want to push our buttons, they know what to say. And like, I think the manager's going to have a hard time with Anthony because he's backed him. He spent a lot of money on him. And I saw a meme the other day saying in all the top European leagues, there's not a worse winger than Anthony for any club. This is what they're all saying, and you laugh it off, but then you get to the point where it's like the manager, because he signed him, he knows him, and probably convinced him to come. And like with Mount played in Dutch football when he was on loan out there. He was really admired by the manager. If the manager continues to back these guys, the fans might turn on the manager. I think that's to answer your question from my perspective, Bath time.
Yeah,
I think that's where he might get a bit of heat because they say, like you said, that's your boy. And that's we see that now because people are saying last season, why isn't Anthony getting dropped? His numbers not that great. He's not producing assists and goals, which I think wingers are sort of they live off, don't they? With those sort of stats. But you might say he's performing well in other areas, but we're not seeing the same sort of output as other wingers in the league, in the top league. So,
who from our squad last season do you think we could have replaced Anthony with?
Tough decision. I think Pleshy wasn't ready. I think this inverted left-sided player, our guy Ahmad was on loan at Sunderland. There wasn't anyone really available. So that's
Mount, Alanga and Sancho were the two, and I liked Alanga. I mean, there are aspects of Anthony that I do like, but it's I don't know if you remember this old Liverpool winger called Dirk Kuyt.
Of course,
yeah, like he was a sort of defensive, like right winger. He wasn't great attacking, but he was up and down. He worked hard. His defensive stuff was good. He was powerful at the back post, so that they could overload it with Risa and things like that. But like Anthony's good. Anthony is good at pressing, and he's got a lot of fire to him. But the rest of them, with the exception of Martial, are terrible at pressing. Like there's been slight improvements with United, but it comes back to this problem with fitness, where because we're so wide in this 3-1-6, there's so much space to cover that I think that they're like running out of gas after 30 minutes. And Anthony is the only one who doesn't seem to run out. Like he will keep going, and I understand I understand his value to the team, but we've got to get more out of him. And if you're looking for someone who runs a lot, I liked Alanga. Alanga was one of the fittest in our squad. He was strong, he was powerful, and we didn't even have him on the bench for 10 game weeks. I just don't get what Ten Hag is doing.
Do you think Ten Hag looks more for the technical side of the game? If he had a choice to choose, I think he's more of he wants to see. He wants players who aren't going to lose the ball, and I just don't think Alanga used to just run straight sometimes. Fast, yeah, that's fine, but it's no good if you need to turn a corner, you know. So
Yeah. Alanga lacked on some things, but I think that I think that if you played Alanga and Anthony for a season with the same team, Alanga would get more assists and he'd do the same like basic defending. But you've hit on something that I've been thinking for quite a while, which is I think Ten Hag resents athletic players. Like I think that he wants like people like Frankie de Jong and Martinez and all this stuff, and he doesn't like that in the Premier League. The sort of the optimum team composition now is to be compact with powerful runners because we're wide and we don't have any real athletes in the team, do we? Is like, would you say that there's anyone there that's athletically outstanding? And then think,
Good point. It's good. Who?
Rashford,
Yeah, that's sprints maybe. I don't see him.
is he
a man who'll just go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down.
Pre-season cross country. Who do you think's winning?
Scott McTominay.
My man, choo.
I do. It's straight. I do.
Who? But right, like Mr. B, can you think of a team in the Premier League that has less athletes than Man United do?
I'm hoping Nottingham Forest tomorrow.
Oh, I don't know. They got Alangi for one. Like, I'm really worried about Serge Aurier if he plays tomorrow. Like, I know they've signed Montreal, but Serge Aurier is a proper up and down athlete, and with not our first choice left back and Rashford probably playing left wing, I'm worried about what that man could do.
You think he's going to start Rashford? You think that he has to start Rashford on the left now, which means Martial starts central tomorrow?
Yeah, like that 100%. Like Eric said, he won't pick McTominay. Like McTominay is to him like a last resort, but he understands you need someone like McTominay for certain games. But he's not picking McTominay against Forest. I don't think, and so that means that if he doesn't pick McTominay, Eriksen can't cover ground, can he? He's good. He runs a lot, but he's not fast enough. So that means that we're going to have to compress all the play on the left-hand side, and Rashford will start left wing. Well, so we have to play on the left-hand side. So Rashford will start left wing to see more of the ball, and Bruno will have to be the guy that covers space on the right-hand side.
Bloody hell. Monday.
Yeah. Am I echoing, guys? Because I've been told I'm echoing. I'm not sure, but
No, you are fine.
Okay, so Andrew Williams saying here, I'm the same. There's a few things I like about Anthony, but the whole package is League One level at the moment. He's saying. Emma's saying here, Anthony only played 25 games though, so he was dropped at times. So he seemed to play every game for me in the Prem.
God, is that all he played?
Yeah,
I'm sure he played more than that.
Maybe we're disputing that stat there, Emma.
Okay.
Saying 25 games, maybe.
Okay.
Vincent saying, do you know Anthony's the reverse of Paul Daniels? He can only do one trick. Unfortunately, it's a free card Monte.
I don't know what a free
Mount
card
strength
Monte
is keeping possession.
I don't know what a free card Monte
Me
is.
neither.
Oh, good. Thank God for that.
Is this true? Mount strength is keeping possession, and Mount compresto. Not sure. I don't know about keeping possession. He's decent. Take Anthony out and put for Palestri. That's from Damien. We didn't mention this the other day. Talking about the fittest players, best athletes in the team. Andrew Williams has put out Wan-Bissaka and Rashford. Would they win the cross country? I don't know. All he talked about last season, he talked about running. Ten Hag definitely likes athletes. Black Bolt is saying Rashford is a beast, talking about athletes. And Andrew Williams is saying there's a very good point for half time with Vaughan. And we've got big team saying Everton. I think that's to do with who's less athletic than us.
What, Anana? Like, sorry,
only one player. It's only one.
There's another one there, isn't there, in that midfield? Iwobi is probably stronger and faster than most of our central midfielders.
Yeah. You know, the only way to prove this is by bringing back superstars. Remember superstars?
Yeah.
With Brian
Remember
Jacks?
in Shoot magazine?
Yeah, Brian Jacks in the dips and the bike race as well. Yeah, man.
So what was that, bath time?
In Shoot magazine, I used to get it as a very excited little boy, and at the start of the season, I can't just imagine a world where they did this now. Every club had to send one player to a sports day, and they all did races in their kit and like the long jump and stuff. And I'd absolutely love them to bring that back again. Like,
Insurance would kill him.
yeah, they'd just never be allowed to do it, but McTominay would finally win some trophies. Bet he's great at the hurdles.
You remember St. and Greavesy? They used to do the sprint to see who was the fastest player. I think Keith Curl. Do you remember him? He was a centre back for Man City. He won it once. And centre backs, shout out to them, over 100 metres. They usually are the quickest. Pallister was the quickest at our club for one time when Kanchelskis and Giggs was there. So just shows you once they get their legs open. As David Coleman once said, he opened his legs and showed his class. Talking about the great Cuban athlete, but yeah, I think centre backs are usually the strongest runners over sort of 100 meters.
And the position you play, and what position do you play in?
What position
do you play in?
Yeah, I played most of my career at centre back.
Okay, I'm not saying that.
So if you have a corner and you break, you might get to the goal line, about to score, and I might just come and pick you at that time, make it. So yeah, athletes. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when I was going back to Superstars, that show, footballers fared pretty well when it came to all-round events they had. Boxers, footballers came out pretty well as regards to being the fittest athletes out there. What did Brian Jacks do, by the way? I can't remember what his sport was.
I don't know.
Was it judo?
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe it was judo. Yeah. And John Conte won it once. He's a boxer, former light heavyweight champion of the world. But yeah, footballers are good athletes overall.
Oh my God! Well, I tell you what. There's a name on here that I'm
Lukaku.
not even gonna try and say. No, don't wind me up about bloody Lukaku. This guy, I don't even know how to say his name, but welcome.
How you doing? He said joining in late. That's hit. Well, Bath time. Do you want to read that name? Because you're good with reading the names.
Himanshu Madhani would be my guess, and apologies if it's wrong, but it's a pleasure to see you.
Sounds good.
Thank you. And that's a lot closer. That's a lot closer than me and OMONDI would have got with that name. I tell you.
Well, we don't know, do we? I said it with confidence.
Are we going to read his name, or are we going to read his comment?
Oh, sorry.
Sam, we got his name. Move on. Joining late says any positive Reds. Not really positives. We're just going over the press conference.
Yeah, we are going to end with a positive. We are going.
Okay, well, it seems like I won't read it. See,
sorry. Finished.
Yeah.
Oh, look, too much. I'll hold my hands up. I'm not pressing no button.
Seems like we've been flooding with negative news around our club and players. Okay, so hopefully Mr. B will change that right now.
This is the one thing he did come out with. The one positive, the one glimmer of hope is that Hojlund started training today with the first team, which means he's going to be taking the licks. He's going to be taking the hard tackles. Hopefully not too much from Casemiro and Martinez. They give him a little bligh. But he's back. He will at least say he's back. He hasn't bloody started, so he's starting. He's going to have a week. He said he's going to have a week's full training. Yeah, week's full training, and he should be back. He should be ready for the Arsenal game. We all know he's not going to start the Arsenal game, but the fact that he's going to be there for the Arsenal game, I think is probably the fact that he's at training this week. I think Ten Hag can finally work on the formation and the benefits of the tactics that he wants to use. But there are some tactics out there that I know me and OMONDI we've had a look at and we've seen. But look, to be fair, if you're not winning games, there's no point in talking about tactics without players that you don't have. So hopefully Martial starts tomorrow, and that system of play that Ten Hag wants to hey, see, you got his name. There you go. See, I told you.
Nice.
Go on for half time. I'm just gonna call you Mad. That's cool, bro. Anytime I see your name, I'm just gonna be calling you Mad. So yeah, look, he's in training. Is that good news? Does that put a smile on our face, or are we normal Man United thing? Oh, future.
I'll just start with this. I'll just say, look, it's magnificent news. look, when someone comes in for that sort of price tag, and none of us know much about him, so the anticipation is really high for us. Especially what a great way to make a grand entrance as a Man United player when we're a bit under the cosh, and this guy comes out, Roy of the Rovers, gets sent on against Arsenal. We're 1-0 down. He comes on, scores a brace, and then he's going to be in the headlines with his blonde hair, bit spotty skin. He needs to clear up his skin a bit like Anthony. Don't share a cloth with Anthony or a flannel with Anthony. I don't know what these guys are doing. Especially
stop skin shaming people.
Yeah, but they're not teenagers anymore. Half time.
It's not their fault, is it? Anthony doesn't go, "Oh, great! I can't wait to dye my hair," and then add a bit of acne.
Yeah, but it's probably that dye in his hair is on his pillow, which is messing up his face. I don't
Brilliant.
know. We need to sort it out. And I say that as a spotty teenager. I did really, something, when I was a teenager, like when you go to school every day, sometimes you get spots and everything. And the worst thing about kids, I don't know if it's like this in football as well, because footballers, they rib people, don't you?
Yeah.
I've seen, who was it? Someone said to Tevez once, your face, look at your face. Do you remember that? He actioned that when they was getting there in an argument with Tevez and said, look at your neck, look at your face. But when I used to go to school, I knew if I had a bit of bad acne, the kids would say, ha, 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 and you laugh it off, but it hurt. It really hurt.
Is this a therapy session?
Well, I just think it's footballers have to have thick skin.
Yeah, but there might be people in chat who suffer with adult acne.
Oh, one day.
Honestly.
You're terrible, man. You're terrible.
I do think it's wonderful to have this guy coming in. He could make a huge impact and make himself an instant hero. And it's easy done at Man United, as we know. Look at Rashford's, Bruni's impact. And it's so easy to become a hero and get on side. Even Elanga, people were singing Elanga songs not so long ago, and he's out the club. Do you see what I'm saying? So you got an opportunity here to be the hero. And I no better position to come in when you're winning and everything else, and you come in and you do jokes like, yeah. But when it's like a dramatic thing coming on, oh no, we've got Arsenal, what are we going to do? Bring on Rasmus, and he comes and scores a goal. He does something really impressive, and it's like our shows are going to be lit up and beautiful. We'll be getting thousands of people watching us talking about the skills and outrageous talent of this young man. So I think it's a positive thing, and I can't wait to see him. I think Mr. B, I don't want to repeat this because I said this yesterday as well. I think 2-3 training sessions, he's been the first team. He'll be starting
away at the Emirates. You'd start him.
Yeah. Shall I tell you why? Because I think...
Because we've got no one else.
yeah, there you go. Go on, That's true. Not just that. His attributes, with Rashford on the left, him down the middle, with his attributes of what we do know about him, the way Arsenal, create overloads in midfield, and suddenly they got 3 men at the back who are a bit spaced out. One little transition, these guys could get in behind quickly and hurt them, and they got the running power to hurt these guys. Gabriel, that we've heard how good he is. Ben Shites, should I say? We've heard how good he is, one-on-one situations. And the one that I really want to see, I like Saliba, but I don't think he's as good as everyone makes out.
Oh, really?
No, I don't think he is. Good on the ball, calm, Rolls Royce. Yeah, that's beautiful. But we will see him in situations during the Champions League and higher-level Premiership, week in, week out, where I think he's going to have to be all this coolness and not sweating and beating people and just picking up pieces. I think he's going to be under pressure. Someone like Ramos, our new signing Rasmus and Rashford, as we saw in the 3-1 win last season, we can create spaces for them to run into. It's going to be easy pickings. I reckon we're going to beat Arsenal.
OMONDI.
I'm really excited about it. I think we're going to beat them.
Look, let's not look past Forest, please, dear God.
Don't. Let's not see the forest between. No, let's not see the. What's it saying?
The trees for the forest.
Trees through the forest. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, over to you, Bath Time. And what do you guys think?
Well, I think that, at Man United, you can be immortal if you do it correctly. I mean, I was going to say this, but I've seen that Black Bolt has also mentioned this name, which is Federico Makeda. He came on, did a lovely turn against Villa, scored a goal. I do not know what he's done since then. I think he's 32 now. But every United fan will remember that. Yeah. And that's what Rasmus has got the opportunity to do. Like, Rashford came on against some supermarket team in the UEFA Cup or whatever, and got a double. Like, and then he went and did it against Arsenal as well.
Yeah.
Like, you've got there is no there's no position in like British football that can make you as much as a god as being the central striker for Manchester United. And Rasmus, I really like the fact he's an athlete, even though he's injured, like a lot. But in terms of like the other positive things, I don't think that anyone can complain about our first phase build-up play now with Onana. We're light years ahead of where we were last year, and if Ten Hag can just get a bit more back to basics and stop asking people to do things that they can't do, like Casemiro could not look after the midfield by himself. He's like a night watchman out there with 50 people trying to rob us. He can't do it. So if we can just get back to basics and stop theoretical football, like Ten Hag plays it on paper, like if we can just play it on the pitch, we might be all right. And that's about as positive as I can be.
Mr. B, finish. Come on, I want to hear what you got to say about this signing.
You know me. No, you know me, bro. I just want us to beat Forest. I said it already, and I've called it. Get him in the game for Arsenal. Give the fans hope. Give the team hope to know that we ain't gonna have Rashford just running here, there, and bloody everywhere with no focal point. Let them have him sitting down in training. Let them understand. Jesus Christ, look at his finishing. You know what I mean? Feeding the ball early, bang. You know what I mean? Let them see something that gives them the lift. Because right now, the first game is the most important. That's the one we've got tomorrow. If we don't win it, it doesn't matter. And even if we win it, it's still not going to matter. It's still not going to matter. We need to batter them tomorrow. Give the team a whole load of confidence so that they can be bubbling going into the week leading up to that game.
Wow. All the guys, I don't know what you think in the comments, but yeah, are you behind us? Do you think we can do this? Big up to Craig Warby, sorry, he's saying different pressure for Hojlund. He's coming for 60-70 million. So is that the pressure? The price tag?
That is pressure. You gotta because you're coming in as like the top young forward in Europe with 70 million.
Yeah.
And you got to show. Like, every Man United player needs to show that they deserve to be at United. Like, and they got to show that in training. They got to show that off the pitch. They got to show it on the pitch. Like, they're in a different ball game now to like wherever he was at Atalanta in Italy. Although, to be fair, they're a bit mental out in Italy. But like, he's going to be under pressure and scrutiny that he's never faced or imagined before. And hopefully, we've done our scouting right. And he's got the mentality alongside the physical attributes to be able to deal with it. But that's like any player that we get in. So I'm really hoping we got this one right and we got an absolute superstar.
I love that. Love that. It's coming, guys. It's coming. You can tell there's a story here. There's next chapter is how Ramos saves our season. And we got a heads up. We're all slouched and looking really on our faces at the moment, aren't we? DK agreed, Mr. B. Andrew Williams agreed, Bartham. Does anyone agree with me?
You're so needy.
Yeah. And Onana from Everton would have been perfect, but that meant we would have two Onanas on the pitch at one time. And we were stuffed for us 1-0 since Stuart Marshall. He's actually
that was my score prediction from yesterday. But guys, look, we're on that mark. I need to eat. I need to refuel. I've got another show in like 45 minutes, so that gives you guys time if you want to watch it. Great.
What subject is it?
We're just talking. We're just going to talk Prem. Obviously, Don P's on. He's going to rinse my bollocks about Tottenham last week, so I'm going to give him his time.
Oh, no.
Billy's. I have to. I've asked him to be on the show, and I'm going to be fair. I will give him his 2 minutes of thingy, and then it's done. I have to accept. I haven't spoken to him a week. I've been avoiding him all week, and I sent him the link today.
Tune in, guys.
So I've got to get that. Obviously, Billy lost. Chelsea lost last week, so we've got early doors on. So he's going to get his 2 minutes of grilling from early doors, and then we're just going to discuss the rest of the Premier League, get it in and out, and discuss what's going to be happening tomorrow. Chelsea are so shit. This is already 1-0 though. So yeah. So guys, bath time. Thank you as always.
Thank you. I just have one quick question, Mr. B. How did you get on in the World Cup last week?
Oh, fucking hell.
Oh, sorry. Never mind.
Bruv,
I've
let
had a
me
great
just-
show.
that's I'll fill you in on that story tomorrow.
Okay.
It's just to say that we are knocked out. We're not in the final, but there was mitigating circumstances, is what I will say to that. But yeah, it hasn't pissed me off, to be fair. You know, it's a learning curve. These fuckers need to learn to listen and learn to shut their bloody mouths when they're playing. But look, bath time, I can feel what's coming. Guys in the chat, thank you very much for watching. A Monday. I bless you. I'll see you back on. Oh shit, we've got a game tomorrow.
What time's kickoff, by the way? I don't
3
even know.
o'clock.
3 o'clock. Are we doing watch along match reactions?
Yeah.
We'll try and do a match reaction. We're not going to be. My Saturdays are a madness now. Now United are back in the Champions League. It messes with my watch along because I used to do it on a Sunday.
It's actually my granddad's 95th birthday tomorrow. So
Wow.
big up to Malachi Forbes.
Big age.
Granddads, you are the head of the family. You're still going strong. Your mind's still strong, and we're going to go and celebrate your birthday tomorrow. 95, guys. 95. Amazing.
Well,
he doesn't eat no processed foods. Everything's idle, and he's a good man. Always been a good man at heart.
Wow.
So yeah, going to represent
95. What a beautiful.
I bet he moves better than Casemiro.
Actually, he's been in bed bound for the last 5 years, bath time. So
Sorry. Tell him to
I'm
wake
not
up.
joking, yeah. His legs are gone. Yeah.
Oh Jesus Christ, guys!
He didn't read the script bath time.
Yeah.
Guys, look,
Anyway.
just hit your notification bell. There probably won't be a watch along, but there will be a reaction at some stage between tomorrow and Sunday. There will definitely be a reaction show,
Comedy, mate.
guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in a couple of days. Cheers, bye.